Good morning. It's Friday, February 10th. Thank you so much for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Randy Ramsey, the Executive Director of Southwest Alternate Media Project, in for our host, Todd Duplantis, today, who couldn't be with us. But I'm super excited to be joined by Marisa Benitez, HCC's Southeast Interim Advising Manager of Student Services. Whew, that's a mouthful. Good morning, Marisa. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. A little bit under the weather, but we got this. It's finally Friday. But let me share some social media updates, okay? So we're live on Houston Community College District Facebook, not to be confused with HCC's Facebook. And you can also find us on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and HCCTV, of course, at noon, 5 p.m., and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yes, and you should look for us there. We're super excited. Lots going on today. Today for Film Friday, we have our guest, Joey Mathews, owner and CEO of FilmLab, who's a local production company that worked on the Super Bowl when it was here, because Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. Good morning, Joey. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited. But first, to start us off this morning, Marisa is congratulating a special recipient of an award just announced by the Chancellor, Dr. Jing Sun, HCC's chemistry professor at the West Houston Institute. She's West Houston Institute Fellow. Sorry, my brain today is like inverting things. And League of Innovation Excellence Award recipient.
Thank you, Randy. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sun. We're excited for you to be here, and we're excited to discuss you being named National 2022-2023 League of Innovation Excellence Award recipient. So, Dr. Sun, to remind our viewers, you and 4 others from HCC are being honored for forward-thinking programs and practices, and will receive your award in this upcoming Tempe, Arizona conference. Let's go ahead and start on how you define innovation and how you include that in your teaching.
Good morning. I'm Jing. Nice to meet you, everyone, and thank you for having me here. And I'm so honored to get this award and nominated by our colleagues as well. So referring to innovation, there are tons of different definitions online if you Google search it. But there's one I kind of really like it, and usually innovation referring to when you have an idea and you also need to realize the idea and implement it and make it valuable to a group of people, and that's what we call innovation. We kind of discussed that when I was joined the Innovation Fellow at WHI. And the first thing we discussed among our faculties and staff is how to define innovation, right? And how to tell the difference between innovation versus creativity. I was actually thinking about my 4-year-old boy was just used the foot massaging the abacus, which was used for the mathematics, right? Addition, subtraction, but he is using that for foot massage. How creative it is. But that means he is innovative? Maybe not, because, it has to be made valuable for the other people as well. So this is how I learn and, how to define it. Specifically for innovation in teaching, I think we have to try to introduce updated technology, but not only the technology, but the teaching methods and strategies, and try it in our classroom and try to improve student learning and, and make sure to make students more successful. So that's the way we should do as a faculty. And you also mentioned strategies, right? Teaching strategies we have used. There are quite a lot of strategies right there. And recently you probably have heard a lot about student-centered learning, because in the past we kind of just instructor doing the lecture by ourselves most of the time and do some Q&A questions. but recently, I think all try to move or transfer from instructor-led to student-centered learning. So everything will be mainly focused on students to see what they would like to learn and what they have learned, and ask for the feedback and try to adjust. Do we have to give them more examples, or they're good to go to the next topic? So a lot of the strategies are mainly try to improve student engagement and active learning. So I have used quite a few teaching strategies here during the semester, such as flipped classroom, iClicker questions so that I get immediate feedback from the students. And I also introduced game-based learning, where this is kind of new. I started last year, and instead of me introducing and developing the game for the students, I will actually give the students an opportunity to develop their own game and choose their own topic. So it's not they have to work on this topic, but they can choose any challenging topics during the semester and choose one they really want to do more work on it, and do the review first, then develop their own question bank, and also transfer them to a game. And also asked the students to play with the game each other, and do more practice on that, and give us each other feedback, for the students who play the game, and the students who develop the game can give them the feedback how to improve this topic, right? To know the mastering, to know this material. And the students who play the game can also give feedback for the students who develop the game and say, hey, maybe I need longer time for me to play the game, etc. So students actually develop a lot of different type of the games. Varies from card game, board game, quiz developed by these online platforms such as Quizlet, and also some immersive games, which is quite impressive. And they're actually very interactive and give some positive feedbacks.
And that's awesome, Dr. Sun. And that's because a lot of our students learn in different ways. And it's very important to incorporate all these different teaching strategies and ways to engage our students. Ultimately, they all learn differently. They grasp information differently. So those are amazing ways. I like the game board, how creative to inquire your minds and to challenge your own mind. Because sometimes, students, they're like, I just don't understand. So I applaud that is amazing. I know you're doing amazing strategies in your classroom and as well with others in your department. So let's go on to the next question, Dr. Sun. Go ahead and share your experience as a faculty mentor for the LSAMP program to develop students' innovative mindset and skills. Is this how you encourage, promote, and implement innovation in teaching?
So this is kind of part of the teaching just for innovation instead of me teaching chemistry. So this is kind of another side of me not doing, chemistry in regular classes. So first of all, LSAM program is short for Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation Program, and Professor Steer, Jeff Steer, he applied the grant and he got the grant, and we have a group of faculty actually work together and provide different activity for the students. And me, specifically, we were working on the community of experience. So we have community of scholars, community of experience, and community of research, so that we can give different type of information and different type of skill to the students. So I was working with Ideas Academy at West Houston Institute. The director, the previous director was Miss Jordan Caswell, and now he was the director of the Idea Strategy and also the WHI director as well. I was also working with program coordinator from Ideas Academy, who is Robin Nagan. Nagy, and we kind of worked together to develop the curriculum for this LSAM program for COE. Try to introduce the innovative mindset and skills, and we talk about the innovator, the designer, and also the entrepreneur mindset, and how to introduce this to solve the real world problems. So 1 year we did the plastic challenging, right? How to reduce the plastic use and how to make awareness of these plastic pollutants, and also how to reuse these plastic materials. So we have students and faculty work together and separate into different groups, and students learn these mindsets, and also they went to the makerspace at WHI and learned the 3D printer machine and learned the laser cutting machine and woodcutter. So they're trying to learn these skills and combine all these mindset and skills and try to solve the real world problem. And some of the problems are directly related to global goals. Try to solve climate issue, for example. So these are the things we kind of deal with in this specific program.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Sun. And I actually had the privilege of interviewing Jeff Steer when he first came and introduced LSAM to HCCTV. So thank you so much, Dr. Sun, again, HCC chemistry professor, West Houston Institute fellow. You're right, Randy. It is a little bit confusing on that one. And now League of Innovative Excellence Award recipient. Congrats again. We'll have all your information in the post after the show. Thank you again, Dr. Sun. Randy, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Dr. Sun. It's so cool to see our students get to do all of this interesting and innovative work. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
You too. Joey Mathews, owner and CEO of FilmLab and our Film Friday guest. Welcome back to the show. Super excited to have you here. Now, before we get to the big game and sports and all of those things, remind our viewers what your company is and what it's all about.
So our company is called FilmLab. We're a full service production company based in the Houston area. We mainly do commercial corporate videos that really focus on storytelling. And that's really where a lot of our success has come, is focusing on story. But yeah, we've been around for about 10 years. We're a small group, there's about 6 of us. But we travel all over. We do a lot of fun projects in Houston and beyond. And yeah, it's been fun.
Sounds fun. Look, storytelling is the key to filmmaking. I'm on my students about it all the time, that, as long as you tell a good story, that's all that matters, whether it's corporate, commercial. I love doing corporate videos personally. I enjoy it, and I think of it as a unique opportunity to tell stories that I otherwise wouldn't get to tell. I also enjoy paychecks, which are more forthcoming in corporate videos than they are in indie filmmaking. So
that is very true. That is very true.
Now, I understand, because I wasn't here the last time you were interviewed, which I'll have to have words with Todd about. I understand you did an Emmy award-winning Super Bowl intro. Now, if I had an Emmy, I'd wear it like a brooch everywhere I go. But I mean, I hear it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. This was the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, and this was kind of in the midst of the pandemic, and production companies weren't traveling as much, and they were doing a story. It was I think it was about a 7 or 9 minute film that was the kickoff film, and it was honoring the parents of the players that were essential workers. And so we went and interviewed, several parents of players, and we went to Louisiana. We filmed in Galveston and Tyler, Texas, and there were other crews capturing other stories. And they put the edit together, watched it on Super Bowl Sunday, and just couldn't believe it. There's our footage, and it was kind of like pinching ourselves, because it was such a great opportunity. And then months later, we found out that it had been nominated for an Emmy for best opening tease for a sports Emmy. And we were kind of like, man, that's a big deal. Now we're technically Emmy nominated production company, you know. And then later we find out
I'd splash that all over your website. That's not technically. You did good work. I saw that piece. It was really good. It was a little tear jerking. Like made a soft spot in everybody's heart. You know, back when we still loved essential workers.
That is true. No, we still love them. We still love them.
How quickly we forget. But yes, or some people, I don't. So you are a sports fan though, aren't you? Like you like a sports story.
I do. I mean, I'm more of a basketball fan than a football fan, but yeah, I love sports stories. I love underdog stories. And, you know, I think that's what makes sports stories so interesting, is because people can see themselves in the players, you know, and they see the team that is not as good as the other team, but then they have this run and they come back and they win. And it's kind of you know, it's a David and Goliath versus, you know, type situation. And I think what makes them so interesting to me is like finding out about who these people are off the court or off the field. And you find out, you know, maybe some of the adversities that they had to get through to get where they are. And it's easy just to see some pro athlete and think, oh, they're just so good, but you don't realize the amount of sacrifice that they had to make. And to me, when you know those sacrifices and you kind of see the behind the scenes of their life, then when you see them perform and win that, you know, big touchdown to win the game, it makes it all the more meaningful. And I think that's what kind of makes sports stories so special.
I think they're modern day everyman, because anybody could be. Both of my kids play full contact competitive rugby. And so, yeah, big rugby fans over here. Knew nothing about it before my children started to play. And then suddenly, but when you get to know them, it makes a huge difference. Like, isn't there's a big defensive end whose favorite thing to do at Christmas time is bake cookies. And you think, here's this big guy. And you would think, you know, what is he doing on his vacation? And it's no, I bake cookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes you love them just a little bit more. Now, you use that approach in your corporate storytelling as well, in your corporate filmmaking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of companies will hire us because, you know, we focus on really their brand messaging and the story behind that, and how that's going to connect to their audience. And, you know, I think when you're making videos for different people, you really have to think about who the audience is and what you're trying to communicate. You know, something that would play in a meeting in a corporate office would probably feel a little different than something that would play like on a TV spot, you know, to just the average consumer. And so I think really like understanding that, and then at the same time, like finding out who they are as a company and kind of discovering what makes them special, and really like how to make people care, you know, when they play that video and people can connect to it. And so a lot of our films can be like almost like mini documentaries, you know, and so they're less, you know, educational and salesy, and they're just a little bit more, you know, inspirational or aspirational.
Well, a little more personal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think the same thing is true in the corporate setting as it is in the sports. When you get to know the person behind the facade, it makes it easier to hear their message, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you had like a startup company and they're selling a product and it's a great product, but I can connect more with that brand if I know about the person who created that product and maybe why they created that product. And maybe there was something personal in their life and they needed something that wasn't there, and it helped them become innovative. And I think those aspects are as interesting as the product itself.
Absolutely. Now, I'm always asking this because I always want to hear what professionals are saying, and I want my students to hear it. But if you had a student in front of you, what would you suggest to them that they should do to stand out as a filmmaker, in the crowd?
I think early on, whenever I was trying to kind of figure out this journey of what it means to have a career in filmmaking, there was always people. There will always be people better than you, and there's always people you can learn from. And I spent a lot of time researching, but my advice would be to go out and just make the things that you want to make. I think instead of waiting for a phone call for someone to say, hey, I've got this project and it's your dream project and I want to hire you to do it, you're probably not going to get that call until you have some work out there that shows that type of work. And so I'm a big proponent of passion projects and creating things that you want to do, you want to see, and really like think about your own voice and nurture that, and experiment with that almost as a painter. And I think the more you do that, the more experience you get. This craft, I've been doing it for 20 years and I still learn every time I'm on set. I mean, there's so much. I'll look back at our work 5 years ago and I'm kind of embarrassed by it, and I hope 5 years from now I'll look back. And so there's a constant progression, and that progression happens by learning and by practicing. And so I think just getting out and making the things that you want is important.
Tell the stories that you want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Joey, thank you so much. Thanks for the advice for the students. Always good. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to seeing you again. I don't get to see enough of my fellow filmmakers. So for me, it's always a happy day when I can talk to someone that I haven't had a chance to talk to before. Thank you so much. And for being here and for being our Film Friday guest. And we will have all your info in the post after the show. And I hope you have big plans for Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great to be here. And yeah, I'm just going to be kicking back with my family and watching all the commercials. That's what I love.
I'll hook you to come talk to my students later in the semester.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you so much, Marisa. We have some, and have a good weekend. Sorry.
You too.
Marisa, we have some news and announcements. So
Yes,
let's start off with Southwest Student Life celebrates Valentine's Day. The Office of Student Life at HCC Southwest will celebrate Valentine's Day by making cards and taking photos at all locations. So that's 10 to noon Monday, February 13th at Missouri City, 5 to 7 p.m. Monday, February 13th at Stafford, and 9 to 11 Tuesday the 14th at West Loop. Check our post for a link after the show.
So February is Black History Month, and the collaboration between HCC Southwest West Loop and the Student Life and the HCC Music Department, they're celebrating through the arts of jazz. So how fun. So this will include events for staff and faculty and students, as well as artists from the Houston Youth Jazz Orchestra. Excited for that. And they're all going to be celebrating the impact of jazz on American culture. So on Tuesday, February 21st, 7:30 p.m., remember Southwest West Loop, and it's a free event. We will have more information at the end of the show.
I hope they do a piece by Jelly Roll Morton, one of my favorite early jazz musicians.
I really hope it's recorded too. We can always go back.
I do too, yeah. And if you haven't checked out Jelly Roll Morton, do. Veteran Leadership Program for Personal Growth. As part of learning about and achieving their personal growth potential, veterans will receive a premium executive package free to veteran members, complimentary assessment and course materials, and a personal action plan, which goodness knows we can all use. 5 to 9 p.m. Tuesday, February 21st, HCC Southwest, Missouri City. Apparently HCC Southwest is just doing all of the things. So just check the post after the show for everything that they're doing. So busy down there.
I know, definitely. And that's all we have to be, because for the students, there's so many students going to campus now. COVID may still be around, but the impact of students and our campuses really make a difference on the relationships we build with them. So I'm all for in-person events, definitely. And, for the students, HCC Counseling Service is offering a $500 scholarship. And it's going to be for students, $500 again. It's a healthy relationship scholarship. So they're offering 2 healthy relationship scholarships. Qualifying HCC students enrolled in the spring classes can share their love for art and prose by writing a 500-word essay, which is not a lot of words, 500-word essay, or creating any piece of artwork. So the deadline to turn in this essay or artwork is Sunday, April 9th. Again, more info after the show.
Melinda Lazurinsky, which I'm sure I murdered that name, has a solo exhibit displaying works using paper and ceramics from her recent sabbatical at El Sur CDMX in the Printing Museum. That is now through May 14th at the HCC Southeast East Side campus in the Wedge Gallery for free. Everyone is welcome, so check it out. And Marisa, spring second start classes begin soon. It is not too late to register and get in here for the spring. Second start begins February 13th, and all of the classes are available in our online course calendar. What is the word? My menopause brain just lost the word. Course selection.
Course selection.
Thank you.
Course availability.
I just had a moment. 5 ways to learn. Online on a schedule, anytime, hybrid, in-person, and hybrid lab. To learn more about our programs, check our link after the show, hccs.edu, apply. Coming up Monday, Mental Health Monday, we'll welcome local therapist Lola Clay, who says you are entitled to live the life you deserve. So she helps put your life in perspective to get on the right path. I should watch that. Maybe it'll help my memory. And later for Tasty Tuesday and Valentine's Day, our guest will be talking about Galentine's Day. So get your gal pals together for this one. Thanks for joining us on this fabulous Friday. And Marisa, thanks for being here with me. Everybody have a great weekend.
Yes, ma'am. See you soon.